Hello to all you Darians out there, and welcome to today's new Welcome to Derry video. It's been 6 years, but It is back with its first of possibly 3 seasons of this new show. And as I suspected, it's already sparked some big fan theories and predictions about what's really going on in Derry and where this story can go for the rest of this season. So, like everyone else, I've got my thoughts and theories on that unexpectedly brutal and shocking premiere episode, and so many questions about that episode as well. So, with all that being said, I plan to make this a weekly segment where after each new episode of Welcome to Derry, and of course after my weekly breakdowns, I'll be making these separate videos like today, where I'll share my thoughts, but more importantly, I want to highlight you all's theories and questions and thoughts, all that come from the comments of my week's breakdown. So let's give this a test run like the nuclear family that picked up Matty and have some fun and see if this is something you all would like me to do on a weekly basis. With that said, let's discuss some major talking points about that season 1 premiere of Welcome to Derry. So I figured we'll start with this topic, and that is Matty dead or alive? So based on the comments I read, it seemed like I'm going to be in the minority on this one. Let's take a look at this comment here. They said Matty is dead. It doesn't need to keep him hostage to imitate him. Now look, there were several other comments who, like the very previous commenter, believe that Matty is dead, but look, I'm cut from a different cloth. I come from the school of thought that if we don't see nobody or we don't see that person die on screen, then they're not dead. We'll talk about that ending later, but why show us those kids getting killed but not show Matty? I see a lot of people are comparing Matty's introduction to this series to Georgie, of course, at the beginning of the It films, where we are basically witnessing the first victim after It is awakened after his 27-year nap. But again, we saw Georgie die in that opening scene, or at least we saw him get his arm bitten off, and we know he died eventually. All we saw with Matty was the pacifier going flying out of the car. But Elliot, why would It keep Matty alive? Why kidnap him? Well, that's a great question, and I'm still thinking about a great answer to that question. But in the meantime, I found this interview from one of the writers of the show talking about how they want to set the tone with this first episode, and they want to make sure that the audience watching doesn't get too attached to these new characters. Now, I found their statements, or the way they worded their statements, to be very interesting. Now, during an interview with Decider, writer Jason Flute says, well, you're coming into this with expectations about what an It show is going to be. You've seen 2 movies, maybe you've read the book, and so we wanted to take those expectations right from the start and upend them. He went on to say that we want an audience to feel like anything's possible. No one is safe, he added. You can care about a character and they can still be taken from you. Now, the next line is what I find to be very interesting. As Jason said, Matty is indeed still in Pennywise's clutches, if not already dead. Now, I'll read the rest of his comments a little bit later because it ties into another big topic for this video, but going back to what he said, Matty is indeed still in Pennywise's clutches, again, if not already dead. Now that to me is playing both sides, but the still in Pennywise's clutches plays in the train of thought that I have that Matty is still alive, but the question remains, why? Here are my 3 top theories on why Matty could still be alive. I think about how It in 2017's film wasn't able to kill members of the Losers Club, for example Bev, or even thinking about the line Pennywise said to Bill in the kitchen.
I'm not real enough for you.
Holy shit.
It wasn't real enough for Georgie.
Maybe Matty wasn't afraid of It and managed to escape the family, and we'll see that happen at some point in the season. Here's my second option. Maybe It will use Matty like it did with Henry Bauer. Think about it. When we first met Matty, he had a bruised eye. Wouldn't surprise me if that came from his father. We know that his friendships with Phil and Teddy seem to come with an asterisk because we know his mom bribed them with candy to come to his own birthday party. We saw him getting rejected by Lily when he tried to give her a kiss, and that was his last straw with Derry. All those being examples of levels of abuse, loneliness, and the lack of connection, and that just leaves him open to being used to aid It in their plans of feeding on the town, just like It used Henry. And here's my third option. Going back to the Georgie comparison, what if this show does the complete opposite? We know Bill's mission was to find his brother, and we obviously know how that ended. But what if here we see Lilly and the others now more determined more than ever to find him after that massacre at the end of the episode, and they actually succeed in doing so? You know, against all odds, I'm going to die on this hill. I'm going to plant my flag in the ground, 10 toes down. I believe Matty will be revealed at some point in this season to still be alive. All right, let's take a detour and speculate about the latest trailer that recently dropped for the weeks ahead. Now, one of the first things that ties into one of the major questions at the end of this episode, and that being if the kids at the end actually died. In the trailer, we see this brief shot of the final moments of the ending of episode 1, and then it quickly transitions into Lilly screaming awake in her bed, reaching out like she did with Suzie. Let's take a look at these comments here, and I'll share my thoughts after. As this person said, I think the ending was Lilly having a dream or nightmare, and the kids that died were already dead / previous victims of Pennywise. Their on-screen deaths weren't their true deaths. The ending looked more like a plain slaughter than a feast, and that's why I'm assuming it was only a vision or a dream. We have our next commenter here saying, I'm still questioning if they're actually dead or what. In the movies, he was stalling and seasoning. I guess he couldn't wait to stick them this time. Now the question is, could Lilly have dreamt about Teddy, Phil, and Suzie dying? We know this is Stephen King's world, and we already have a character in Dick Halloran who has The Shining, and it was actually mentioned in that trailer.
Halloran, starts.
Thing I got. Let me see things. Dead ones.
So could Lilly have shining abilities and see deaths before they actually happen? What if the first time she experienced her abilities was right before her father's death, but she just ignored it until it was too late, and we know how that ended? I also think about the line where her mother told her to take her medication. Could those medications have extreme side effects like hallucinations? Or if she doesn't take them, she has these ongoing nightmares or visions of seeing people dying. More on Lilly and the others in a second, but I also want to point out some other things I saw in the trailer. Now, it looks like the police will indeed be using Hank, Ronnie's father, as a scapegoat to blame him for the disappearance of Matty.
What do you think you did to him?
Are they really gonna try and pin this on you?
Everything will be okay. You hear me?
Which in my mind gives Ronnie more fuel to either finding Matty alive or at least finding who took him or what took him. There's also a major focus in the trailer of showing how the Air Force seems to have mapped out these different digging sites that may or may not play into the origins of it, and they need Hanlon and Dick Halloran and the local Native American tribes' help in order to contain this entity, or they may be using it in the war against Russia. There were so many other amazing things that they revealed in this trailer. For example, I think we might see the Kitchener Ironworks factory that happened in 1908, where the ironworks exploded and 102 people were killed, 88 of them being kids and 14 adults. Or this could be the possibility of us seeing the Black Spot tragedy, which I discussed in my latest breakdown. So if you haven't already, definitely go check out that trailer. And depending on you all's interests, I may do like weekly trailer breakdowns after each episode, of course, if that's something you all are interested in. Now, going back to the big topic, and that's how we ended the episode and answering the questions, are the kids at the end dead, or was it a vision or a nightmare or some type of trick or hallucination created by it? Going back to the article I shared earlier, we may have an answer. Again, the writer Jason, who was interviewed by The Decider, said in that last sentence, Matty is indeed still in Pennywise's clutches, if not already dead, and Teddy, Phil, and Suzie have also been killed. Only Lilly and Ronnie survived the first episode, and that was intentional too. Now, there's also some clips I want to show you all from Andy Muschietti himself speaking on this very topic.
One of the first ideas in the writer's room was, once the audience falls in love with a set of losers, and give them a bit of a quick exit.
If the characters that are seemingly our heroes die at the end of episode 1, then no one will ever be safe in this world.
And one more video from Phil himself.
Script, I was hoping that I'd either survive for the entire series or die in a really awesome, gory way. I got what I wanted.
So it appears that was no dream, no nightmare, no vision or tricks by it. Teddy, Suzie, and Phil are dead. Now again, this was just a test trial to see if this is something you all would be interested in, so I didn't want to go too crazy with the theories and questions and all the different stuff, and we can go on for hours if I did, but I think this is a great place to end this week's theory video. So with that said, share your thoughts about everything we discussed in this video, and please keep sharing your incredibly creative and detailed theories in the comments below for more videos just like this. If you all haven't already, check out my breakdown of episode 1, where we talk more about the deeper meanings of the episode, the Easter eggs, and so much more. I'll see you all soon, sooner rather than later, for episode 2, which will be available on this coming Friday early for Halloween. Now, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I appreciate you all, and of course, for those that are returning, I appreciate the continued support. Like I said up top, if you like these type of videos, you want a weekly theory video, you want maybe a trailer breakdown after a new episode, let me know by liking this video, but also hyping up this video. Also, share the video to anyone and everyone you know that loves talking about this show, and consider sticking around by subscribing to the channel today. Now, if you all are listening to this in podcast form, I appreciate you all. Let me know your thoughts about everything we discussed in the comments, but also stick around by following the podcast, subscribing to the podcast, and leave a review and a rating. I would really appreciate it. Alrighty, y'all. Remember, you all are awesome. Stay safe. Don't get in a car with strangers, and I will catch you all on the next video. Take care.